everybody. So we're so excited today. We are here to talk all about summer box office, the ever elusive goal of getting to the top of the summer box office is upon us, and it keeps getting earlier and earlier and earlier. And we're gonna have a lot of fun giving our predictions of what we think will be the order of the box office this summer. And I'm Rachel, and Conrado is here.
He definitely is right here,
Yeah.
ready to rumble.
Yes. We've done this the last couple of years. And what are your thoughts about this summer as far as the slate of upcoming movies?
It seems really packed to me. Even if you don't count Avengers Endgame, which is coming out in April, so technically not the traditional summer season, it's still really packed. I still had a lot of, back and forth trying to figure out which ones were going to make the most money.
Yeah, it's tricky. And I have to say, I felt as I was putting together the list, I was pretty underwhelmed. There was not very much in this list that I am very excited about. There's a couple, but I don't know. I hope it'll be some surprises. But
I think I'm with you. I think there's like maybe one or two movies in my list that I actually want to see, and then most of them are just things that I think are going to make money.
right, yeah. It's kind of, we included Infinity War, and then we decided we're not going to include Endgame this year in our box office predictions for the summer because we just felt like April is ridiculous.
We have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
But also, these Avengers movies are truly my nemesis when it comes to summer box office predicting. Because it used to be that I always put them at number one, and they were never actually number one. I did that with Avengers Age of Ultron and with some other movie, I think Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Didn't work out. Then I started putting them at number two, and last year Infinity War was number one. So I decided that we have to take them out, and because they're in April, technically not the summer, perfect excuse.
Right. So if we included Endgame in our predictions, where would you have it on your list?
Well, I assume that you would have it number one, right? And I think
Yeah.
most people have it number one.
Yeah.
But I, foolish man that I am, have it at number two, if I were to include it. So we can talk about what's actually my number one when we get into it.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if it makes close to $1 billion just this first opening weekend. I think it's going to be massive, but we'll see. But yeah, that's what I would have at number one if we were including Endgame. So, well, let's just dive in and we'll talk about it, and we'll see. We'll have some dark horses as well. And definitely let us know your predictions, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
let us know your predictions and whether or not you think we are ridiculous for including or not including Avengers Endgame.
Yes, definitely. So my number 10 prediction.
Oh, we're starting at 10. Okay.
Yeah. So my number 10, we're starting at the bottom. My number 10 is Rocket Man.
Oh, okay.
Yes. My reason for picking this movie is I thought that we have the Bohemian Rhapsody crowd that loved that movie. Elton John's pretty popular. I think that it looks better than Bohemian Rhapsody, to me at least. It looks a little bit more creative and a little bit, I don't know, just more interesting.
It would be hard to look worse than Bohemian Rhapsody, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I thought, we talked a lot last year about an underserved kind of minority, I guess, getting a movie for them. And I guess my hope is that this movie will be maybe something that there certainly have been movies for LGBT audiences, but like this is a very like more of a mainstream, and my hope is that they'll do a good job and the people will want to go see it. I think that the risky thing about this pick is that it is rated R, and so is it where Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't? And so is
Oh,
that going to affect
interesting.
it? But I'm just hopeful that it will be really good,
Hmm.
and that people will really want to go see it. So
Right.
anyway, that's what I have at number 10.
Um, Rocketman is one of my dark horses, so it's
Mm,
not in my top 10, but I can definitely see your argument. And I think, an older crowd, sort of an LGBT crowd, and that sort of people, maybe if someone who doesn't want to see necessarily a franchise, but something a little more,
mhm.
uh, you know, serious or whatever, maybe I'm gonna go to Rocketman, and I could see it crack in the top 10.
Yeah.
But my number 10, which I was, going back and forth, which I think is a movie that is going to disappoint in box office performance, but it's still probably going to do enough to get in the top 10 for me, is Dark Phoenix from the
Mm,
X-Men franchise. Um, I think the excitement is not there as much as it used to be for the X-Men. Now they've been bought by Disney, and it feels like they're just like dropping the movie before, just so that they can, start putting the X-Men in the actual Marvel universe and get rid of these old movies.
mhm.
So it seems like they're doing a little bit of a dump there. I think, you know, superheroes do well. People want to see comic book movies. I think it's going to make just enough money to get in the top 10.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, my own lack of anticipation may have impacted my putting that one on my list. I think it looks terrible, and I really disliked Apocalypse.
Hmm.
So I that may have impacted my
Yeah.
that. But it does have your pretty big name people, and but I don't know, it just looks so bad that.
It does look bad. I just think there is a bottom to superhero movies that,
Mhm,
that it's so high that I can't see it doing less than, I don't know, it's probably gonna make like 150, at least 125 or something like that. And that could
mhm.
get in the top 10, I think.
Yeah, it definitely could. That's for sure. So yeah, we will see. It's I mean, I'm hoping it will benefit from my exceedingly low expectations, but we'll, we'll see.
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah,
I'm not excited to see it, but I
right.
think there's enough people out there who might be.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, yeah, I think so.
All right.
It was definitely one I thought about, but I don't know. Well, uh, I feel like they haven't done a very good job marketing it either. So
Mhm.
that's what I
I
want.
think it's totally being dropped. I
Yeah,
think they're not putting their weight under it. So I think you might be right. It might not even make the top 10. That's why I have it at 10, and I was
yeah.
very tempted to replace it with something else.
Hmm. Interesting. All right. Well, my number 9 is John Wick, Chapter 30, Parabellum, or whatever.
Oh, okay. Another
uh,
of my dark horses.
yeah, I don't know. I just figured the uh, the the franchise people really enjoy them. People like going to action movies in the summer. It is rated R, so that would be the downside from it. But and it does have a unwieldy title. That affects it. Um, but I don't know. It just seemed like there's enough momentum, and that it'll hopefully will be good. People will like it,
Hmm.
so it will do well. And yeah,
John Wick definitely feels like a growing franchise. The
yeah.
last one did 92, so I can see this one, easily making enough to get in the top 10. I am very excited for it. It's a movie that I really want to be good, and I think I'm really going to enjoy. And I hope it makes into the top 10. I have it as one of my dark horses,
Hmm.
just because it feels like it's not, it feels to me like a bit weaker of a franchise in terms of money as some of the other stuff that's going to come out this summer. So,
Well, and I
um,
think that the box office is going to be lower as a whole this summer. I don't know. I just don't.
well, yeah, my struggle, I think, coming up with my list, one of them was all these movies that look like they look bad, like I don't want to see them, but I can picture people wanting to see it, and they look like things that make money. So I don't know, maybe people are feeling the way I am, maybe they're not. So that's kind of the thing. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm a little outside of the mainstream in
Uh-huh.
what I like to see, so that's making me very dubious of what should I put on this list and what
Yeah.
not.
Well, I mean, it's just going to be hard because you've got so much to watch at home. And I mean, you can watch people are, loving Game of Thrones, people are loving
Yeah,
all their things. And so, eh, why do you need to go to the theater these days unless it's an epic event like Endgame or, that kind of an
hmm,
experience? And so I think it gives
yeah,
maybe some of these maybe R rated or other kind of things, maybe a chance to get into the top 10 where they might not have 10 years ago or
absolutely,
5 years
absolutely.
ago.
I think there's like 3 or 4 movies that definitely gonna be huge hits this summer, and then a bunch of others that I don't know where to place.
Well, and there's also not that many all out family films. I mean, I guess you got your two Disney remakes
I
but
think you have a good
you know,
amount, but well, we can
yeah.
keep talking about it as we go, I guess.
Yeah. So what did you have at number 9?
My number 9 is Men in Black International,
Yeah, I
starring
debated about
Chris
this one.
Hemsworth and I'm sorry.
I I debated about this one.
Yeah, it's not on your list.
No.
Yeah, it made my list. I don't know. It's one that I don't know quite. I'm not quite sure how to decipher it. The Men in Black movies made a lot of money back when they were out, but that was with Will Smith in them. This
Mhm.
one does have Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson together after Ragnarok, so maybe some people are gonna be excited about that. I know I'm interested in seeing them together because I think they're both very charismatic, very beautiful people. Um, so I'm gonna give it a shot, and I think enough people will give it a shot to get in the top 10, even if it's just in the lower, number 9.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I actually really enjoyed the trailers, and I think it actually makes sense as a gender swap because of course they're gonna have agents
Mm-hmm.
that are women, of course. In the if the MIB was real, I mean, I guess it's Men in Black, but you know what I mean. Of
Right.
course they're gonna have female agents as well, and I think that I think that they'll have good chemistry. They did so much in Ragnarok, but then I'm hearing all of this that this didn't screen well. It's all this bad buzz, and it is a franchise that the last two were pretty bad. So does it still have the panache that it once had? I don't know, but it probably will make something like 30 to 40 million unless it's terrible. I mean, opening weekend,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's terrible, and then it won't. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah, I'm going out on a limb thinking that it's gonna be fun enough that people are gonna go and see it. I'm thinking it's gonna make, I don't know, I'm hoping it's gonna make like around Ocean's 8 money, which is like around 140, 150, and that could get it in my top 10, which is, lower ranks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's probably a good comparison. Yeah. Well, I have at number 8. I have Detective Pikachu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it is rated PG. The kids love the Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
and Pokemon is just a lot of fun. But I think also having Ryan Reynolds as the vocals, having it be a little bit uh sarcastic for the adults, they're gonna enjoy that, they're gonna like it. And it just seems like a movie that everybody has kind of a lot of pull from. I could picture teenagers wanting to go see it because of the Ryan Reynolds element.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the trailers have been quite brilliant in selling a weird, strange concept and making it look. I mean, I'm definitely excited to see it, and
Mm-hmm.
so I think it will do well.
Yep. We'll be talking about Detective Pikachu later.
Ooh, okay, good. So what do you have at number 8?
My number 8 is Godzilla King of the Monsters,
Yeah.
which I see some excitement about it based on the trailers. It looks like me like a lot of monsters and a lot of things going on in that trailer. I'm not particularly excited, but it's coming out on May 31st. I think it's going to make some good money. I doubt that it's going to make even as much as the original. well, not the original, but the Godzilla from a
Mhm.
couple of years ago, which made 200. So I'm putting it at a little bit below that, like at 175 to 180, and that puts it at number 8 on my list.
Mm. Yeah, I have that further up on my list. So I'll tell
Okay, all
it's
right.
it's definitely one it's I think going to do well. So okay, so number 7 for me is Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, mine too.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to vote against a Fast and Furious movie. They just do so well. The last one didn't do as well here in the United States as some of the other ones. It did insane in China. This looks terrible, but and I'm can be a defender of this particular franchise, but it certainly looks like it will make money. So I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen most of them. The last one still made 226, right, in domestic.
Okay.
Um, I think this is probably gonna make less than that, but that still puts it around 180 to 190 for me, so it's number 7. So I think it's gonna make a good amount of money. The Rock and Jason Statham, and it looks ridiculous, but I think people are gonna see it. So number 7 is
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue against. It's hard to not pick how when you got The Rock and Jason Statham. I mean, something like The Meg making so much
Hmm.
last year after the I think
That's true.
charisma of Sharks slash Jason Statham.
Yeah. Well, the Mac made a lot, but Skyscraper didn't, so you
Oh
never
yeah,
know.
that's true. That's true. Uh, the they were the Jason Statham was the best part in the last Fast and Furious movie, in my opinion. The Rock has chemistry in droves, so we'll see what is happening. I don't know what is happening with Idris Elba's career. Why he's picking these roles? I mean, I guess
Um,
so. It's
yeah, I
interesting.
think the answer is a big fat check.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. Hobbs and Shaw at 7. All right.
Okay.
Number 6 for me, I
Hmm.
have Aladdin. I think this one is really tough to predict
I
because
agree.
it's I don't know, I feel like it's hard not to think that people will go see Aladdin. People love the original film. It's a it's a classic. It seems like it's going to be pretty similar to the original as far as the structure and everything. At least the
Hmm.
trailers haven't shown really any difference. And I am glad. It seems like the singing is pretty good, so that makes me happy. As opposed to Beauty and the Beast, which had terrible singing, and but it's got some weird things that people aren't responding well to. You've got Will Smith as the genie, which I think is fine, but that trailer with that VFX was
Yeah,
terrible. So I kind of hope they
yeah,
just don't even do the blue. I hope they just have him be a genie, and that's fine.
yeah.
Um, but anyway, it's tricky. I don't know. I just feel like is this the one that nostalgia will say no, we're not gonna we're not gonna support this one, or is it gonna be just like all the others? I don't know.
I agree with you. It's a tough one.
Yeah. So anyway, what do you have at 6?
My number 6 is The Secret Life of Pets 2.
Oh, okay.
Which, like you said, family animation movies and these illumination movies keep making money. So I have it at number 6. I'm assuming that families are going to take their kids to it and it's going to make enough money to get in there. I have it making, it has to make more than 200 million. So that's already number 6 or higher for
Yep,
me.
I have it higher. The the last one made more money than Batman v Superman. So
How much was that? Like 300 something?
I don't have
Probably, right? Let me look it up. Yeah, 368. I don't think this is gonna make as much as that, do you?
no, I don't think it'll make as much, but they
It can
just
probably come close.
they just know how to make piles of money. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it will make a lot of money.
You're starting to make me doubt myself. Maybe I'm gonna move this up.
Yeah, so I do have it higher. So we will see. I mean, Illumination, they know how to do it. So I don't know. You can't
Hmm.
vote against.
Yeah, the Grinch made a lot of money too, right?
Was yeah, the Grinch, Sing made a ton of money.
Yeah,
The even ones that you think maybe didn't make as much money, if you actually
they
look at
did.
the numbers, make a
Oh God. Okay, I
ton.
think I'm gonna have to put it higher.
Yeah. So, and people love their dogs and their cats, and people,
Yeah.
so that's part of it too, I think, with this one.
All right.
But yeah, so now my number 5 is Godzilla, Gods and Monsters,
Uh-huh.
and it is Memorial Day weekend. And it's a big epic
Right.
movie, and it has multiple creatures, and something like Kong Skull Island did really well, and
Mm.
so that's why I think that people will go see it, people will like it, and yeah, I mean, I haven't been won over by the trailers. The cast is undeniably great, so
Mhm.
I'm excited for that. Anything with Kyle Chandler, I'm super excited. But I mean, I think it's mostly the monsters that people like,
Yeah.
these classic
Um,
monsters. So
yeah, I wonder. I mean, this could really break through and make a much more money than I'm anticipating. I already said I have it in number 8. I'm just wondering, it's just because Kong did well, but it didn't get to 200, and Godzilla just got to 200. I don't know. Maybe the excitement is there, and they're actually building towards this franchise, and they want to create Godzilla versus Kong or whatever.
hmm
So who knows? But yeah, I think I could see it being one of the breakthrough hits of the summer, I guess.
yeah, I mean, especially if it is good, then yeah, I
Right.
think it will. Uh, that will help it. But I don't know. I think Godzilla, King Kong in it, Mothra, all these classic monsters.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there is some excitement for it. I just don't see. I see that a lot on the internet, not so much amongst the people in my, like day to day, quote unquote, real life, which is something that I'm also trying to use to
Yeah,
make this list. And that's the thing that gave me a little pause.
yeah. I mean, it's true. I've never been a huge monster movie person, and I didn't like Kong Skull Island, so I personally am not that excited for it. But
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just hard to vote against all those monsters.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the kind of thing that's going to be big in the summer.
Yeah.
But it's a busy summer, so who knows?
Yeah, it's true. What do you have at number 5?
My number 5 is Aladdin. Um,
Yeah.
which I'm also wondering how much it's gonna make. It's obviously a big nostalgia property, like you said, but also a lot of doubts around the making of the movie, and even more so than The Lion King, which is also coming out. And I know that in the internet, a lot of people saying, including myself, what is the point of remaking this? It's just the same movie with photorealistic lions. But in the real life, I think people are excited for that one, not so much for Aladdin. I think I
Yeah.
see a lot of people that are like, really, Aladdin? And it looks kind of weird and it looks kind of cheesy and whatever. So I don't know. But I still think it's going to make enough money. It's probably something that you can take your kids to, which I think is also going to help it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like I wonder if it'll be kind of the the Pirates of the Caribbean entry of this year. It will make
Mm,
enough, uh, but
that sounds about right.
will be considered an underperformer based on the
Yeah,
history of these remakes. I don't know.
that is actually, that comparison makes a lot of sense to me, like a Pirates of Caribbean sequel
And
sort of
it
thing.
came out the same time.
Yeah, 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 you're right. That's a good point.
So yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. All right, my number 4 is Toy Story 4.
Oh,
And
okay.
I might be low on this. I know I feel like there's enough people that are kind of why are they making it? And ended perfectly with Toy Story 3, and that Forky is just kind of weird what's going on
Mhm,
with Forky. But there's certainly obviously enough people who are going to go see it,
mhm.
uh, because they love Pixar movies, but I don't see this one being billion like your Dory and
Um,
your
well,
uh,
yeah, Incredibles. I definitely
yeah,
think it's not going to make as much as Incredibles. Dory also made a lot of money, and I wonder if it's gonna. I think it's more likely that it gets to Dory levels than it would Incredibles 2. But I agree with you. I don't think there's a lot of excitement around it, um, especially compared. Like when I remember when Toy Story 3 came out, and that was a huge deal, and people were really curious to see what's going to happen.
yeah,
Um, this and that was such a perfect ending to the trilogy that I think a lot of people might be wondering what's the point of a fourth Toy Story. The
yeah.
trailers haven't been that good in my opinion either.
Well, I mean, Pixar's trailers are never very good, but except for Cars 3, there's the only one that had good trailers. But the thing that gives me hope about this movie is that anybody who has seen even portions of it so far has
Hmm.
been raving about it. They
Okay.
showed like 20 minutes of it at CinemaCon,
Hmm.
and everybody I read and heard was, wow, this is incredible. And evidently the rumor is that Forky is going to be kind of a nod to your, I guess, LGBT kind of pe- characters, I guess. Or
Oh, I see. I
yeah,
see.
that
I can see that.
he's like made, it's not his fault that he's made different, he's just
Right.
different. And I guess he has uh this is just conjecture, we don't know,
Hmm.
but I guess he has a rainbow sticker on his foot. And so
Oh, okay.
anyway, and so
All
if
right.
that becomes kind of a plot element and it's done really well, that could
That's
be
an interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, that's something that I think also critics would respond to and maybe like boost the excitement
Mhm,
for it too.
mhm. Yeah, and so I may end up loving Forky. Who knows? But
Hmm.
I did love. There's somebody, I don't know who set it up, but there's a Forky Twitter account.
Okay.
It's hilarious. You have to watch it. It's so good. Or what
All right.
was it? Anyway,
I gotta look that up.
yeah. Because I put on
Hmm.
Twitter, I was like, I don't know if I enjoy. I don't know about Forky, and they responded to my tweet. They were like, well, we don't know about you. I was laughing.
That's
Uh,
funny.
anyway, but yeah, I just you hear about Tom Hanks and Tim Allen just like talking about they were just sobbing after doing the recording. I mean,
Hmm.
I I of course they're going to talk positive about their experience, but
Hmm.
it still kind of perks my interest at least. And
Yeah.
oh
But
wow.
still, you only put it at number four. Like, do you have an estimate of how much money you think that would be?
Um,
Are
I
we thinking as much as Toy Story 3 or ever
I mean,
thereabouts, probably?
Toy Story 3 made over $1 billion.
Well, that was worldwide, right? But
Yeah.
like in the US, it was probably like 400 or something like that, 450.
Yeah, I think it won't make that much, but uh yeah, it made Toy
Okay.
Story 3 made 415.
You think a little less
Hmm.
than that?
Yeah, I think a little less than that.
That sounds about right to me.
So I don't know, we'll see. But
Yeah. I don't have it at number four though. My number four is Spider-Man Far From Home.
yeah.
And that I have also making somewhere around, I think it's probably going to make around what Homecoming did, maybe a little more, have it at 350. Um,
Mhm.
I think, I think people are into this new Spider-Man version. Um, there's probably going to be some excitement after Endgame for another Marvel movie, I guess.
Mhm.
People like Tom Holland. I don't know. Number four
Yeah.
seems right to me.
I
Seems like a sure bet
I
that's
think
going to
I
make money.
have it at number 3. So
Well, there you go.
yeah, I think so. I think that people will be ready for a little palate cleansers as far as just something light and fun and Spider-Man after a more intense movie with an end game.
Hmm.
And I yeah, I think 300 million easy. And
Yeah.
I think the trailer was pretty good, and I think it looks fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So, uh,
Mhm.
we'll see what happens, but yeah, I think it will do very well.
Great. My number three is Toy Story 4. So this is where
Yeah.
we're starting to repeat ourselves. So I think like you, probably somewhere around a little less than what Toy Story 3 made. So I'm thinking like 375, 380, and that puts it at number three for me.
Uh, that makes sense. All right. Well,
Hmm.
my my let's see. My number two is The Secret Life of Pets 2.
Wow, okay.
Uh,
So you think that's gonna make more than Toy Story and Spider-Man? Wow, okay.
I
I
do.
definitely might be underestimating these elimination people.
I think you've got it's animated film. It has dogs and cats in it. People love their dogs, their cats. People love the humor in these movies. It has a huge cast. I think that I don't know. The last one, domestic, made $368 million. I think this one will do better, and I don't know. I don't see any reason why like Toy Story 4. I'm like, there's people who might feel this way. There's people who aren't that excited about it. The, I see nothing as far as the people that came out to the first one are definitely going to all see it, and I don't see any
Hmm.
downside. There's no like counter argument as far as it being a huge success, except for the fact that it probably won't be very good. But they
Hmm.
don't care. Nobody
The
cares.
only My only thing there is I think so. I have two theories why it won't be as high as you think it is, and it is one is I think it's strictly a family movie. I don't think it's a movie that people go to who are not taking their kids. So I think Toy Story 4 and Spider-Man is going to have a lot of teenage audience, maybe adults that are just curious, especially if they get good reviews. I don't think that's going to happen for Secret Life of Pets.
I would say that, except for all of the people I know who have just adore their dogs and their cats. And so just on that level, I can see them
Hmm.
going to see it.
Interesting. Did they go out for the first one that you know of?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Oh, okay.
people love these movies. So I I don't know. That's the draw that I think that they'll have, that maybe even like a Despicable Me movie wouldn't have.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I think I will not be surprised at all. This movie makes over $1 billion worldwide.
Okay. Well, all right.
Yeah.
All right. I think number two is the spot in which we're making our bold predictions. Because
Yeah.
my number two is Pokemon Detective Pikachu,
Wow. There we go.
which I think definitely makes 1 billion worldwide. I think the international audience for Pokemon is huge. And this is the one where I'm thinking, this is the only movie on this list that I'm excited to see.
Uh-huh.
This is the only movie that I hear people around me of my age and little older and younger talk about Detective Pikachu and how good the trailer was and how they want to see it and they're curious to see it. I think you're gonna get the kids, you're gonna get the families, you're gonna get the people my age who grew up with Pokemon. And if it gets good reviews, you might get some other people who wouldn't have seen it otherwise. I think this is gonna be like the surprise huge hit of the summer, and I have it at number two.
Wow, very interesting. It definitely could be because, like you said, it kind of has a ton of different draws. It's
Yeah.
it's got the Ryan Reynolds draw for
Hmm.
the people that for
Yeah.
teenagers
Like the
and
Deadpool
adults,
people.
hmm and it has the kid draw with the, and it's because it's rated PG. I was kind of surprised it got PG because I don't know, just the trailer. It looked like, oh, is this going to be a
Hmm.
little bit more sassy, a little bit, more than PG, but I was sort of surprised that it did. And yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
It just looks good. I was
Yeah,
so surprised because I thought it was such a bad idea when I first heard of it, but the trailer completely sold me. It
yeah,
looks like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but with Pokemon.
yeah,
Looks
yeah.
great.
That's a good comparison. Yeah, that is good. Very interesting. Okay, so
So
my number one.
I think it's the same one as me.
Yeah. it sort of pains me to say it, is the Lion King. I
Yeah.
think that the nostalgia is just too strong. This is so many people's favorite animated film, certainly a huge
Mhm.
part of so many people's childhood,
Mhm.
and people really liked the Jungle Book, the photorealism. I enjoyed the Jungle Book just fine, and I think that uh, it will. I said in my trailer reaction that I think the Lion King, if you want a photorealistic Lion King, then you'll like it. It'll be good if that's what you want. Like, I have no desire for that in my life. I don't need it. So it's not really something that appeals to me. But I think a lot of people will really like it, and that's so it'll do very well. It has a ton of stars behind it, which
Mhm.
will probably help a little bit, and uh, for what it's trying to do, I think it'll be well executed, if that makes sense. But
Yeah, I think it's a completely redundant movie to exist.
right,
But so was Beauty and the Beast, and we know how much money that made.
yeah.
So here's where I make my bold prediction. So listen up. So if you take Beauty and the Beast animated version and
Uh,
you look at how much that made and how much the live action remake made, and you put that into The Lion King and you look at how much the animated movie made and how much this remake would make if it made as well as the Beauty and the Beast, it would make $996 million in the US, which would make it the highest grossing movie of all time. I don't think it's going to make that much, but I think it's going to be number one ahead of Avengers Endgame.
oh, interesting.
And that is what my bold prediction for the year.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's also going to be shorter. That is one, so they can have more showings than Endgame. So that could factor in as well. But yeah, it's interesting. That's interesting. I could see it. I could see it
I
because
think, yeah, I think it's
massive.
definitely. Do you know if they've rated it yet? Because this seems to me like also like a kind of movie that, you're gonna get a whole wide variety of audience, not unlike Pokemon, for like little kids, families, teenagers, and also like adults who grew up with The Lion King. Maybe they're bringing their kids, or maybe they're not. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people who, are still too young to have kids who are excited to see it. I think so many
Mhm.
people grew up with that movie that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's not yet rated.
Okay, it's probably gonna be
So,
PG. Do you think it'll get a G?
I don't know. It's hard to tell because uh, they don't give that many G's these days. But Toy Story 4 just got G rating, which kind of surprised me a little bit.
Jungle Book was PG, so I expect it to be around a PG probably, but that's still gonna get families in the door, I think.
Yeah, that should be fine. And yeah, it'll be interesting. It's definitely going to make a ton of money. So
Mhm.
either way, Disney is going to
Yeah, either way,
be fine.
they're probably gonna own all of us in a couple of years. We're all gonna be working for them.
Yeah. Yeah, because I Endgame, Lion King, Spider-Man Far From Home, Toy Story 4, and Aladdin. So 5 on my
Mhm.
list.
Yeah, and Dark Phoenix technically
Oh
now
yeah,
at
you're right, you're
Disney.
right, you're right. Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, let's talk about some of our dark horses that we
yes.
have. So I have on my dark horses, I have Artemis Fowl as a dark
Mm,
horse because
okay.
I would just love nothing more than for Disney to have, speaking of Disney, to have
Hmm.
a new franchise with some new energy and some new uh, spirit to it, and they just have failed in their attempts to try to do this lately.
Hmm.
And I haven't read the book. I'm going to try to read it before. It is, I guess, a pretty popular book. And last year, Wrinkle in Time was not my favorite. And my hope is maybe just this will be really fun, and it'll be a big surprise. People will really like it, and I know there's a whole series, so I would just
Hmm.
love for there to be a new live action series that takes off, and so that's sort of a aspirational. A lot of my dark horses are kind of aspirational. Hope that there'll be
Interesting.
a big surprise, and there you go. So
Um,
that's my first one.
this Artemis Fowl always struck me as almost like the unsuccessful like cousin to Harry Potter, and I think that's going to continue. And
Yeah,
it just I don't know. This just looks like a flop to me.
it definitely has that potential.
Yeah, but
But
if it works out, you get the bragging rights.
yeah, I just would love to see a new franchise from Disney. So fingers crossed, maybe it'll be fun. We'll see.
Cool.
What do you have as one of your dark horses?
Well, uh, um, two of my dark horses you already mentioned because they're both on your list.
Hmm.
One of them is Rocket Man, um, which I agree with you. Probably don't see it making as much money as Bohemian Rhapsody. That was kind of ridiculous how much money that made. But I could see it becoming a hit. And the other one is John Wick Chapter 3, which I also think it could rise to the level of top 10 franchise.
Yeah. So definitely, it'll be interesting to see how those do. I have on my list of dark horses, I have Child's Play on my list. It's a popular horror franchise. Horror can really surprise in uh, for the box office. It can.
Hmm.
It seems like a lot of times there's a horror entry on there. And Mark Hamill is the voice of Chucky, and he's been promoting it a lot. He's very excited about it, so that can't hurt. And I don't know. It,
I could see that.
yeah.
There's
And
also an Annabelle movie that could also do well.
mhm,
Although I don't know how the Conjuring universe is doing at the moment, but
yeah.
I could see that also making money.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a big
Mhm.
doll theme
Yeah.
this summer.
Oh,
Um,
that's true. Maybe the dolls will cancel each other out. I don't know.
yeah. Well, and one neither of us had on our list, that some people might have on their predictions list is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's my other dark horse. Is that yours too?
Yeah, it's on my
Yeah.
list.
Hmm. Um, so the last Tarantino, Hateful Eight, only made 54 million, but this one has Leonardo DiCaprio, who has had a bunch of hits lately. The Revenant made 180, Wolf of Wall Street made more than 100, The Great Gatsby also made a lot of money. So I think it has the potential to make,
Mhm.
enough to get into the top 10.
Well, and some
Um,
of Tarantino's have done like, didn't Django Unchained? Didn't that?
yeah, Django, which had Leonardo DiCaprio in it, it made 162. So
Yeah.
that was a pretty big hit for him. So I could see it making anywhere, as high as 180, and that's enough to get in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah. And I had one on my dark horse list because just out of gut feeling and because I loved the trailer so much. But then once I was talking to my friend Mark, he brought up some really good points. I I had the movie The Dead Don't Die on my dark horse list just because I thought that I was thinking of Zombieland, which made
Mm-hmm.
over $100 million,
Right.
and I think that this got Adam Driver and Bill Murray and it looked
Mm-hmm.
Gomez. The cast looks great. It looks so funny. I absolutely loved the trailer, and it kind of has two genres of comedy and horror, and
Mm-hmm.
appeal to both. But he brought up the point that it's a smaller studio distributing it, and I didn't
Yeah.
realize that, and so it probably won't get the distribution to be able to be in the top 10. But I
Yeah.
think it could be I think it could do very well still for an indie film, and I think it could be a sort of a little surprise of the summer.
That'd be interesting. It's definitely one of the movies I'm most excited about
Yeah,
because it's Jim Jarmusch, who I love as a director. But then again, he is not the kind of director who is going to make a mainstream hit.
yeah.
He's very oddball and,
Mhm.
artsy and,
But it looked more mainstream, at least by the trailer. To
yeah, yeah, that's true. It did. I just don't know if we can trust the trailer when it comes to someone like Jim Jarmusch. Maybe
Yeah,
they're just trying to sell it really hard.
that's probably fair. I
Yeah.
also I was tempted a little bit to put Late Night on my list just because I've seen it and it's
Hmm.
so mainstream. It's so crowd pleasing. It's so charming. And it, Minnie Kaling, Emma Thompson. But I don't think it'll have
Yeah,
the marketing to make it. But I think it could be a little bit of a surprise hit as far as an indie, I guess, film. Uh,
yeah.
it is just so good. I absolutely loved it, and so I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like the kind of movie that could maybe make a bunch of money like 10 years ago or so, like Devil Wears Prada or something, you know?
Yeah,
It's just these days with all these giant franchises, it's really hard for something that's not on that level of budget
yeah,
and marketing to break
and
through.
distribution. That's the
Yeah.
frustrating thing is I feel like there are movies that could make a ton of money. It's just they don't get enough screens, and it's frustrating when something so unassociated with the quality or lack of quality, of the film. It's
Hmm.
just completely if something like that makes all the difference is very frustrating sometimes for me.
Yeah.
But last one that I think could be a surprise is The Hustle. If
Oh, yeah.
if it's funny, and then to me it looks pretty funny, I think it could kind of be one of those comedies that like Central Intelligence or one of these comedies that kind of sneaks
Yeah.
in and
Yeah. And there are no comedies in either of our lists, so it could be.
yeah.
There's always room for a breakthrough comedy. I
Mhm.
guess Men in Black kind of counts as that.
Yeah. And I think it looks funny, and I think Rebel Wilson and Hathaway have they're maybe a little hit and miss, but I think it's a remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels,
Yeah.
and so we'll see. But I think it has potential.
I'll definitely see it. I'll tell you that.
Did you have anything else on your dark horse?
I don't. I just have the three: Rocketman, John Wick, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Good. Okay, good. All right. Well, good. I think we have some pretty interesting picks,
Mhm.
and this was a lot of fun. And let us know if you're listening what your box office predictions are and what you think might be a dark horse, a surprise hit of the summer. How are you feeling about the summer box office? Are you excited or are you kind of underwhelmed? I put out a tweet yesterday kind of saying basically my meh feelings
Mhm.
about summer box office and it seemed like a lot of people kind of on the same page as me. There's
Yeah,
not a ton that's exciting them.
yeah. Also, let me know, how do you feel about me putting Lion King making more money than Avengers?
Yeah.
A, I'm a genius. B, I'm a crazy person. C, I'm just a contrarian. I want to know from all you haters.
Yes, oh, definitely. And put your outrage below in the comment section. It would be great. So that would be a lot of fun. And so, Conrad, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter, and that would be at Coco Hits New York. You can also follow my blog, which is cocohitsny.wordpress.com, and I am also on Letterboxd if you use that. Uh, and my profile name is Conrado Falco, so that's how you find me.
Great. And I'll have that all in the description section. Definitely want to follow Conrado. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, on Rotten Tomatoes and on iTunes and YouTube. And if you're listening on iTunes, if you can give us your ratings and reviews, really appreciate it. And if you're listening on YouTube, if you can give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, we are so grateful for that. So thank you so much, Conrado. This was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. And we will have to come back at the end of the summer and see who got the most right.
Yeah, when I bask in glory for my bold predictions.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. We'll talk again soon.
See you next
Bye.
time.